Hey everybody, I wanted to do a review between the Exmark Quest and the Gravley ZT-HD. This is a 2016 model and this is a 2021 model. I just bought this to replace this, but we'll see. So starting with the Quest, like I said, I've had this for about 5 years now. It has just under 500 hours. I've had issues with pulleys, the welds breaking. They've now currently with the new ones changed how those pulleys are put together. They're two halves riveted together instead of one formed welded to a shaft. So they both have the baggers. So I tried to par on my purchase. So this is a 50-inch, this is a 60-inch. It was $100 more to upgrade the 50 to the 60, so I went ahead and did that. Both with the bagger systems. As you can see, though, this is a direct flow from the deck, so it uses the force from the deck to bag. This has an external blower to put into the bag. Both of them are dual 30-gallon bags, so there's two 30-gallon bags to each. And so I'll start with the Exmark. The headlights I added on. They do make Exmark headlights to put on, but I went a cheaper route. I made my own brackets, and the brackets ended up breaking from the light, so they're zip tied on there, but that's 5 years of abuse. Deck control is all hand control. We do have the scalp pedal here, so I like the hydrostatics on this mower. There's no spring. I call it a spring to zero, so if you let go of the controls, it springs back, you stop. This is, I call it a go as you go. So you push forward, you go, you let go of the sticks, it stays going forward. So you control the mower, it doesn't stop itself. Basic controls on here. I added this on for a bagger box that I built, but it is not on here right now. This is all Exmark materials. Your throttle control, choke, key, headlight switch for my headlights, and the PTO or deck drive. I also added a 12-volt plug on here. Your hour meters back here, as you can see, 471.8 hours, so just under 500. That is the Exmark 23 horse. It is not a Kohler, it is an Exmark. Batteries all up under here, so pretty basic there. Shared hydraulic reservoir for the two hydrostatics. They do have their own separate filters, so whenever you change them, you have to change one filter for each side and for refill and all that. The bagger I've had numerous issues with. When I bought this, Exmark said, oh, the deck creates enough force that whatever goes in that chute makes it to the box. Works great on very dry grass. So this here, it's pretty green, but there's no dew or anything on it, so I probably wouldn't have too many problems. But if you hit a thick patch of grass, it will clog the chute, and it clogs down right in here. Sometimes the clog starts right here, and then it just packs in there real tight. So I've actually broken this strap that holds the two pieces together because of having so many clogs and having to take it apart. So I have a bungee cord on there. So when you have a little strap right here, it hooks onto a post. So the post mounts into the frame. Back here you have two bags that they hook onto the back here. And it's kind of a pain to put on one-handed. So one of the things I don't like about this bagger system too is that when you flip the lid up, it's using that spout to hold the lid. So if you have the mower running, it vibrates and it falls every time. And most of the time it slips off of the hinge. So you're dumping the bag and you turn around and this whole thing is just laying on the ground. But it does work. The bags are nice. I mean, 5 years I haven't had to replace them. My dumper box that I built for this, it actually uses the bag catches to sit on there, but it replaces all of this. But that's a totally different thing. I can show you that if you guys are interested. Fuel tank, I want to say it is a 3-gallon, possibly a 4-gallon tank. I cannot remember, but I know I fill it up and I get my yard mowed, and by the time I'm done, I got 2.5 acres. That tank's damn near empty. So, but the tank is inside of this fender. There's a little sight window down here. That's where the bulk of the tank is in this area right here. So that's actually changed now on the newer mowers. I'll show you that once we get over to the Gravley. It is a manufactured float deck, so you push on it, it moves. Taking advantage of that, or taking that for granted. Never had a fixed mount deck, which is how the Gravley is. I'll show you that here in a second. So you hit bumps. There's no suspension to these at all. That's a fixed axle up here to both sides. I think there's a beam that actually runs all the way across the middle there. There's no suspension to the rear at all. So as you're bouncing with the mower, that deck should kind of float and roll with whatever you're mowing. I don't think there's anything else I forgot. Oh, park brake is within these handlebars. So you push it in, releases the park brake, pull it out, sets the park brake. And so that's the Exmark. 10 inch wide turf tires, 4.5 inch on the casters. They're all inflated. There's no solids or airless tires. And this is an extra weight for the bagger unit, because if you don't have that weight on there and you get those bags about half full, you hit a slight incline, the front floats. You hit bumps and it's bobbing. And I believe that's it for the Quest. We will do a cut review as well too. So now onto the Gravley ZT HD. 60 inch deck, 6 inch air casters, 14 inch wide air turf tires on the back. Sorry, kind of had a dud Jimmy moment there for a second. Park brake is this little yellow handle right here. So I keep forgetting about that, being so used to the Exmark. Your cut height is a pin that's it's magnetic pin. So, and it's attached. So, well, it was attached until just now. So I got to fix that. And so to lower the deck, instead of on the Exmark where you just had a hand control, you actually have to use the scout pedal. And so you push on the scout pedal, you push this little lever back towards you, lifts this arm up, you drop the deck down like with your handle. External blower is belt drive. It's an additional pulley that's added onto there, so I believe they had to change the spindle shaft and everything to add that. It's pretty easy to take on or put on, take off. There's a pin up underneath it here that you pull, it swivels out, you lift it up, and there's a little gray handle right here. You push that forward and it releases this tensioner pulley right here. And then you just pop the belt off, pull that pin, swivel it out, lift it off. It is heavy. It weighs, I'd say, close to 100 pounds. So yeah, 14 inch, 6 inch turf, so wider tires. I went with this unit because of those wider tires, and it has a little bit of a lower stance to the Exmark. I have a pretty heavy hill here at the front of my house, and this mower washes out. So I'll go straight down and I end up backwards or sideways by the time I get to the bottom of the hill. I have not had that issue with this mower yet. So even on wet grass, I have not slid. So that's a definite plus for this mower. With these front caster arms, you can see that this one kind of comes straight out. It bends out just a little bit, but this one here, it comes out and it goes way over. That does make it difficult to cut a straight line because your brain is telling you to go straight, but your center between your casters is over here. It's like straight in front of the R and not in between the A and the V bottom where it should be. So that does make it a little difficult to try to follow a straight line. Well, if you're starting your stripes of going straight. Existing stripes, you got to kind of ignore the casters and just follow your straight. You watch your stripe. But they had to do that because of the extra weight from this blower. So they had to bring this control arm out this way farther to compensate that extra weight, and it does great because, like I said, I've not had any issues with sliding or tipping for that matter. It's a very stable mower. Again, there's no suspension. All 4 wheels are hard mounted. It does make it a little bumpy. There is an option for I call it an air ride seat or a spring ride seat, so you get some cushion in your bounce. I went with the cheaper seat that's just a hard fix. I have some pretty bumpy spots in my yard. It does pretty good for the most part. I'm not finishing up with back pains or nothing from bouncing around, so that's good. Now, detail to the seats, there is some mesh material right here at the bottom of the seat, and then a couple little spots here to the back. I can get a little closer, you can see that. So kind of lets the material breathe a little bit. A lot of stitch work on this seat compared to the Exmark. That's solid, vinyl, pleather, whatever you want to call it. So the more stitching you have, if you let this mower get wet, the more your butt's going to get wet. So I haven't had any issues with that yet. I've been keeping this as clean as I can and in the garage. This guy's been sleeping outside because I needed the room in the garage for this mower. Okay, so moving along. So that is a hard mount deck. They actually put the step here on the front, so I'm pushing on that pretty good. You see the mower wiggling, and it's not moving. It's all hard brackets and everything like that. So the fuel tank, they still have the fill here, but there's a tube that runs down. Let me flip the seat up here, you can see. So there's the fill tube drop, 5-gallon tank. I can almost get 2 mows out of this tank. So it is a 24 horse Kawasaki engine. So the Exmark was a 23 horse up 1 horse. This helps stabilize you a lot better because you don't have that excess weight holding to one side over the other, and it keeps you more balanced. So that Exmark is also doing that now too. I guess a lot of people have complained about that issue. So the battery is up here in this corner, surrounded by the fuel tank. So hopefully you don't ever get a battery short and catch your fuel tank on fire. But there's that. While I'm under here, your hydraulic reservoirs, there's 2 of them, so they're independent now versus the shared. So I guess that could help balance out your system a little better. If you have issues with one, you don't have to tear apart both. Alright, we went over the blower system. So again, your park brake, basically same controls. You got your throttle, you got your PTO or deck power. They moved the hour meter up here, which is great. So it kind of allows you to see or time yourself on how long it takes to mow. And I got 17.3 hours on this. So here we turn that. Where are we at? Where are we looking? Here we go. 17.3. Okay. And then you got your key and your choke. This is an accessories port for the headlights. So I will probably eventually do that once I can figure out where I can mount them. Not very many places to figure out. So I was thinking about just putting them back down here like I did on the Exmark, but we'll see. It's about the same size chute as the Exmark. I believe it has an 8-inch chute. So those are about par. I do like this lid much better. You have a strap to both sides of the lid, handle there, but I don't use the handle to open that. That's more or less for taking it off. They put a hinge on here so it actually holds the lid up, and you can't even pull it down. You have to pop that back in to fold it. So the bags, instead of hooks, they're on slide rails. It is nice. I'm more concerned on the wear to the bags from being on those rails, the constant in and out, because it's powder coat, it's slightly textured, so that's going to create a wear point. It does seal up better because instead of just having one lid, one wide open lid port, where stuff blows down in between the bags, you have these recesses. It drops down about 2 inches or so, sits down into the bag. But on that, a downside with that being a split opening, when this fills up, this gets packed full. And I mean, it packs in there tight. You pull the lid up and it's packed full. So they still need to try to figure out a way to let you know when your bagger's full, because right now you just kind of got to go on when it starts blowing debris out the front of the deck. And I've already run into the issue because of not knowing that the chute, I remember the first time the chute filled up and it was clogged up to about here. That's when I realized that the bags were full. So I went and dumped them. I was trying to figure out how to get the stuff out of there without pulling this all apart. Don't worry about it. When you fire that deck up, that blower has so much force that it cleaned that tube out. So where the Exmark, you're digging that out by hand. If it's clogged in that chute, you're cleaning that chute. It won't blow itself out. So I'm gonna do a little demo to show you how each one of them cuts. I just cut with the Gravley yesterday. It is my 4th time running the same stripes. You can't see them. Now, I do not have a striper kit for either mower, but I will show you how they cut. So stay tuned. Okay, we're on the Gravley. I'm gonna do 2 passes and then we'll try the Exmark. So here we go. Okay, so there is a down and back pass with the Gravley. You can see the stripes a little bit. Alright, now stay tuned. Okay, here we are with the Exmark. We're going to do a down and back pass. Here we go. We're going to take a walk down here, and I did cut them actually at a 1/2 inch height difference. I did the Gravley at 3 inches and the Exmark at 3.5. So I know I kind of got a wheel overlap here. I don't normally put 2 white stripes together. I was having a hard time. That and driving with one hand. So we'll come down here. And of course, everything wants to stripe today. So Exmark to this side, Gravley to this side. And the camera doesn't do it justice, but to me, I can clearly see different cuts. This is a little more choppy cut, and this is a very even, like carpet cut. So we'll come down here and look against the sun. Yeah, they do. So there's your Gravley. Obviously you get your wheel press lines. You can tell how it's a little choppy down the center. And then your Exmark cut. So it's very, very uniform. So this is the Gravley after 4 cuts. I finally was able to get a little bit of stripes, but if I go down to the other side and look up, you can't see the stripes at all. So I don't understand that. I've never ran into that issue before. I've had some people say, oh, get the striper kit. I make my own stripers, but still, you should be able to have a lawnmower that'll stripe without having to spend an extra $500 to do it. So, but there's my review between the two. So your Quest to your Gravley ZTHD. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'll do best I can to answer you. I'm a little torn on which one I like better. I think I'm a little biased to this because I'm more used to it, but I've had more ridiculous breakage issues to this. One thing with this one, with the exposed belts to the blower, there are covers that go on there. There's 2 separate covers, one that covers the pulleys to the deck over this area here, and it comes up, and then there's another one that covers the pulleys to this area. Not ever running one of these external blowers. The first time I ran it, the first few times up until yesterday, there was this high pitch like jet engine turbine sound that I just cocked up to the blower itself. Well, when I was halfway through mowing yesterday, I noticed that I could see this pulley and that section of belt. It cut through the guard because there's an imperfection in the forming of those guards that it was actually pressing tight up against that belt, and then there's another spot up on this pulley here that it cut through the other guard. So I don't understand that. I'm not too happy with it, spending the $8,000 on this machine versus the $5,000 that I have put into that machine. So brand spanking new, 17 hours on it, and I'm already gotten parts that are breaking over imperfections. So that's to be figured out yet. But yeah, since those guards are gone, that high pitch whistle is gone too. So this is a louder machine overall. I run around with earbuds mowing the yard, and that I've never had any issues with. My earbuds are noise canceling. They're like earplugs. It's quiet and that. This I have a hard time hearing my music over. So it is quite a bit louder just on its own. And that's without this on here as well. So again, thanks for watching. I know I rambled on a lot. Thanks for bearing with me. Again, any questions, feel free to ask, and I will do what I can to get the answers for you. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.